Thanks for joining us for the weekend edition of National Focus. I am Tarnia Green. Among the major developments, United States lauds Dominica's efforts in the fight against narcotics and organized crime. Government to meet operating costs of the Alpha Center. And if Dominic's application for new depreciation rates is approved, it could mean a reduction in electricity bills for consumers. Join me for the details of these and other stories coming up right after the break.
Black cickatuka is a dangerous fungal disease that affects the leaves of banana and plantains. The disease prevents the plant from producing healthy bunches. It is spread by wind, water, and people. Please do not remove banana and plantain trash from infected fields. Stop the spread of black cickatuka today. For further information, please contact your extension officer or the Division of Agriculture.
Thanks for staying with us. Time now for the details of the news. Prime Minister and Finance Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has announced that his Dominican Labour Party administration will commit to meeting the operational cost of the Alpha Center, a school for children with special needs. The Prime Minister's announcement came as he visited the school on Friday. Prime Minister Skerrit stated the commitment to the Alpha Center would begin immediately and will be for an indefinite period. Previously, government had provided a $5,000 a month subvention to the institution. Prime Minister Skerrit has also announced a special grant for the individual students of the Alpha Center. The grant is to go towards covering transportation and uniform costs for the students. This is in keeping with government's policy to provide the necessary resources which ensure that all students are able to attend the school. Ms. Jean Jacob, member of the Board of Directors of the Alpha Center, expressed gratitude to the Prime Minister for his visit. She welcomed the announcements by the Prime Minister, stating that this will go a long way in ensuring the school fulfills its mandate to help those with special needs. During his visit, Prime Minister Skerrit observed the various programs available at the school while interacting with the students and faculty. The Alpha Center was founded in June 1974 and will celebrate its 40th anniversary later this year. The school has a student population of 38 ranging from age 6 to 19. There are 11 staff members, 9 full-time and 2 part-time. The Child Abuse Prevention Unit last week Friday ended a 4-week child abuse and neglect workshop in the Kalinago Territory, Atkinson and Antrizal. Gemma Azil Luce, coordinator of the Child Abuse Prevention Unit, gave a comprehensive overview of the purpose of the workshop and its impact on these communities during the month of February.
The main objective of the workshop was to target child abuse and neglect within the Kalinago Territory and Atkinson. It is also to provide educational advocacy in order to promote awareness that child abuse and neglect is prevalent within the Kalinago Territory. However, it can be alleviated. To educate and empower parents, child protection officers, community leaders, and individuals who work directly with children on all aspects of child abuse and neglect, including the mandated steps needed to be taken when child abuse and neglect is witnessed or suspected.
Various types of abuse, including physical, emotional, sexual, and child neglect, were explored in detail during the 4 sessions. 57 active participants were also taught how to detect signs of abuse in children. The main concern for Azil Luce and the Child Abuse Prevention Unit is the silence concerning abusive situations in the communities. The Break the Silence campaign was launched in Trinidad and Tobago in 2010 to encourage Caribbean communities to speak out against child abuse.
This campaign is an approach to protect children against sexual abuse and the risk of contracting an STI or STD. And it aims to reach victims and families with a message to speak out and denounce violence against children, to denounce sexual abuse and the shame and stigma that surrounds the issue, And what are the first steps to take in seeking help?
However, Honorable Ashton Grano, parliamentary representative for the Kalinago territory, believes it's not so much breaking the silence as it is using the law to take action against the perpetrators of abuse. The minister expressed deep concern for the situation of child abuse and illegal adoption in the territory, but made it clear that this situation is not unique to his constituency, but is a national concern. The nation's leader, who was also present at the closing ceremony, stated that while government is doing its part in ensuring that the laws and legislation are there to protect children from abuse, the responsibility lies in the hands of persons in the communities to ensure that Dominica's children are safe.
In Dominica, we have some of the strongest laws relating to sexual abuse cases. The challenge this system has is that in many instances, when it is reported, people do not want to speak to the police. And you cannot go to the court of law if you do not have witnesses who are prepared to come in to give evidence before the court, to say to the courts that which they have seen and that which they have heard. In an effort to assist with the process of protecting our children, the government constructed the place of safety called Chances in Jimmy to provide a safe environment for those who have been abused or neglected. It is costing us in excess of $80,000 a month to run this facility. And of course, we have other facilities in the country which we assist, who provide that level of protection for children.
Prime Minister Skerrit gave his personal commitment and that of his cabinet to assist in the efforts in combating child abuse and neglect in Dominica. As a result of this workshop, a child abuse prevention committee was formed in the Kalinago territory to pay closer attention to combating child abuse in the area. In more news, Dominica's sole electricity company, Domlec, has applied for new depreciation rates and, if approved, may reduce the cost of electricity for Dominican consumers. Formal discussion on the matter began on Thursday when Domlec met with the Independent Regulatory Commission, the IRC, and the public on Domlec's tariffs revision and depreciation policy. Domlec applied to the Commission for a depreciation review prior to an application for review of their existing electricity rates. A depreciation rate study executed by Domlec on December 31, 2012 revealed that the equipment at Domlec can be used for much longer than previously indicated. General Manager of Domlec, Colin Cover, believes if the company's proposal for new depreciation rate is approved, Dominicans could pay less for electricity annually. The proposal of new rates is part of the process towards the review of its tariffs.
Under the old depreciation rates that Domlec presently use, the depreciation expense for 2013 would have been $11 million. Using the new rates that Domlec is proposing, the depreciation expense for 2013 would be $8.4 million. This means that if the new rates are agreed on, the revenue requirement would decrease by $2.6 million annually on average, roughly. Because every year, it won't stay at $2.6 million because every year as new equipment is added, the amount of depreciation changes a little. So this means that if the new rate is adopted, customers will be required to pay approximately $2.6 million less annually for their electricity bills.
Cover noted that Domlec's tariff has not been reviewed in more than 20 years. However, he said the current state of affairs of the company has not been affected by that. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the IRC, Lancelot McCaskey, told the consultation at the Fortune Hotel on Thursday that the depreciation would allow Domlec to recover the cost of their assets that they have put into the business.
What the IRC did in its tariff document was say to Domlec that, look, we recommend that you look at your depreciation regularly and provide the IRC with depreciation studies that would, that would be more in line with the cost of your assets and and the useful life of those assets.
In 2013, the Independent Regulatory Commission granted 2 25-year licenses for the generation of electricity and for the transmission, distribution and supply of electricity in Dominica. In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has made it clear to the communities of Tatan, Tukuri, Savanpai and Cottage that village councils have an important role to play in the development of their communities. The Prime Minister was speaking at the 15th inaugural meeting of that village council last Thursday. Honorable Skerrit is particularly pleased that the Labour Party administration has, more than any other government, given more scope to local authority in handling the affairs of their communities. The Prime Minister gave his commitment to provide funds to the Council for the completion of the Toto Road project and also to constructing a 15,000-gallon imperial water tank in the community of Savanpai.
When people talk about water and we have 365 rivers and it's raining every day in Dominica, one can appreciate the cost of bringing water to your homes. And I can give a commitment here this afternoon that I shall make the monies available for the construction of the 15,000 imperial gallon tank for Cottage. So that money is made available for this project.
Honorable Skerrit also had special praise for 17 young men involved in an apprenticeship program in the Cottage constituency. The country's leader gave his commitment that the young men will remain employed at least until the end of 2014.
And I want to commend the 17 young boys. The 17 young boys who have come forward and say, yes, I want to be positive. I want to learn something. I want to get a skill. And I want to commend the PAREP for this initiative, for getting young boys and putting them on a housing program here in Capuchin, helping to construct homes, learning but getting paid to learn. I can tell them that you'll be employed for the rest of the year 2014 under this program.
The Prime Minister also took time to list several employment initiatives undertaken by government in the north of the country. These include the rehabilitation of the Cabrits, the 68-room Moroccan Hotel, and the coffee processing plant in Portsmouth. The handing over of football uniforms for the players of the Maho Soccer Strikers was the highlight of the Women's Football Club on Thursday, when Parliamentary Representative for the Maho constituency, Honourable Rayburn Blackmore, made the presentation. Honourable Blackmore commended the young women for taking part in sports, particularly in the sport of football, which historically was predominantly a male sport.
I know, of course, how important sport is for the wholesome development of young people. And it's very good to see that young women are taking time off to get themselves involved in creative ways.
The parliamentary representative affirmed his support to the team and also promised to source new sporting bags for their newly handed over kits.
I'm looking forward to working with you, and of course you have the items before you, and you made reference to a kit. And I think if you have a uniform, you have to have nice bags to put your uniform. So I'll be sourcing some real nice bags for you, because I want my ladies, when they leave Maua and they go to Bath State or you go to St. Joseph, they have to know that you represent the best.
The minister stated that although the uniforms cost in excess of $7,000, the talent these women possess is far greater than the value of the uniforms. He wished the team well and advised them to use these uniforms as a springboard to excel. And finally, this news time, Dominica's Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit was among world leaders who attended a special military parade in Caracas, Venezuela last Wednesday, in memory of the late Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. Honorable Skerrit joined leaders such as Bolivian leader Evo Morales and Nicaraguan counterpart Daniel Ortega. Tens of thousands of red-clad Chavistas gathered for rallies in Caracas and elsewhere in honor of Chavez, whose 14-year rule won him the adoration of many of Venezuela's poorest. The celebrations honored a charismatic leader who transformed Venezuela during his 14-year reign by championing its downtrodden. President Nicolas Maduro, the hand-picked successor of the late President Chavez, organized 10 days of commemorative activities to mark Wednesday's anniversary of the larger-than-life leader's death from cancer at the age of 58.
In this week's edition of Flashback, the President, His Excellency Charles Savra, and his wife visited several schools and a few government projects in Atkinson and the Kalinago Territory this week. Minister for Diaspora Affairs Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre discussed government's view of diaspora investments at the recently held Aid Bank Diaspora Investment Forum. Dominica joined Venezuela in marking the first anniversary since the death of Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez with a mass at the St. Alphonsus Church. And Prime Minister voiced his commitment to the completion of projects in the Cottage constituency. The Ministry of Health launched a 3-day course on critical incident stress management, and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States has announced the appointment of St. Lucian Dr. Didacus Jules as the organization's new Director General. He replaces Dr. Len Ishmael, who demitted office at the end of December 2013. That was it for the headlines topping the news this week. Back to you, Tarnia.
Thank you, Pearl. McPherson St. Luce is up next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, qui a créé ainsi Dominique pour faire bon choix, qui concerne les affaires élections, les temps là qui arrivent. Honorable Skerrit fait parole pendant qu'il délivrait l'adresse en meeting inauguration village council cortège semaine passée. Si le Premier ministre Skerrit, administration les beaux partis déjà ni bagaille développement bien positif depuis qu'il venu en pouvoir en l'année 2000. Premier ministre a aussi créé à ce village council 9 Salam qui n'ont pas autant significant pour jouer en développement communauté là. Et aussi fait parole que le gouvernement libre parti passer n'importe d'autre qu'à bas autant pouvoir pour autorité locale en Dominique. Honorable Skerrit bat commitment pour faire l'argent available pour finir bâtir chimé toto et puis système de l'eau pour savane paille. J'ai un monde qui est engagé en apprenticeship programme aussi tapé bon compliment Honorable Skerrit. Honorable Skerrit aussi bat commitment yo qui continue jusqu'au finissement l'année salam. À la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominica fait report production well pour géothermique à finir sans expériencer pièce problème. Parole celle-là sortie du ministre de l'Énergie, Honorable Ribbon Blackmore.
Le gouvernement Dominique, le gouvernement Skerrit, qui a mis en place pour changer la manœuvre là nous avons fait bagarre à Dominique. Nous avons dit que si nous mettons un système en place, pour nous payer moins pour l'énergie pays, c'est un bagage qui est bien important pour nous, quand il y a monde. Nous avons déjà fait un pile travail, mettre autant l'anti-way en bagage géothermique. Nous avons fouillé ce test wells là. Après, nous avons juste fini ce qui est production well là. Nous faisons ça avec pièces des ordres. Le résultat là, ils sont un well, production well qui est bien bon ça bien important pour nous, Dominique.
Ministre Black m'a fait parole comme un gouvernement bien plaisir pour support et ouais, c'est vrai, faire projet là en réalité.
Nous bien contents nous taper support. Tout le monde, l'autre pays, AFD, mon français, World Bank, OAS, Council Regional Martinique et Guadeloupe. Tout le monde qui a travaillé nous pour chiper la main pour faire ça en réalité.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson, Luce. Bon week-end.
Find out why we should accept people as they are. That's coming up next on your tip of the day.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
We all know we should accept people as they are, but is there a good reason to do so? Research shows that you experience greater personal growth when you do. When you accept others, your focus changes from them to you, which allows you to work on fostering your unique skills and talents as well as improving your shortcomings. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm your presenter, Tarnia. Thank you so much for watching and have yourselves a wonderful weekend.